Good morning. I'm Sarah Payton Scarborough. I'm Associate VP for External Engagement at Marshall University Research Corporation. I am also the Alliance's Operations Council Chair. Welcome to the final day of our Small Communities Big Solutions Conference. We are so pleased with the attendance over this week. Hundreds of West Virginians are attending and participating in this annual state update and celebration. Tomorrow, we will be hosting rising leaders from across West Virginia for our first ever West Virginia Solution Seekers Student Leadership Conference. We appreciate the West Virginia Higher Education Policy Commission and the West Virginia Department of Education for supporting this endeavor to help inspire our young talent to stay right here in the Mountain State. We also appreciate Kroger and their support for being our student sponsor this year. This entire week has been a joint effort led by the Alliance for the Economic Development of Southern West Virginia, the West Virginia Community Development Hub, and Coalfield Development. Today, we are focusing on our communities. We will look at our state's tourism industry, speak with outdoor recreation leaders. We will hear from West Virginia American Water and learn how they are building partnerships in West Virginia communities. We will meet with USDA West Virginia leadership team. We will also hear from our program sponsor, Andrew Dawson with United Bank, and he will help kick off our annual Power of Performance Awards. This year, our awards process was extremely competitive. I am so excited to hear from our 2021 honorees. This afternoon, we are hosting panel discussions on outdoor business opportunities, the impact of COVID-19 on the local level. We will talk with mayors and community foundation leaders. And we will also learn how West Virginia women are moving forward. This conference is all about connecting and learning what is working well in our state. It's about celebrating the good and working together to fix our challenges. We've had such a powerful week of programming that we have actually decided to continue some of these conversations and breakout sessions through 2021 to develop projects and action items that we can take on by working together. So stay connected with the Alliance and learn how you can participate moving forward. Now, I want to thank all the presidents, Operation Council members, Stephanie and Brandon and their teams for working on this conference. Our planning team has assembled this amazing program with more than 80 speakers. I mean, just wow. We could not do all of this without our impressive sponsor list, which includes United Bank, and Andrew Dawson is in the house this morning. Appalachian Power, we heard from Brad Hall yesterday. ARP, we heard from them on Tuesday. Marshall Health, we heard from them also on Tuesday, and they sponsored a wonderful breakout session looking at recovery. West Virginia American Water, Brooks, you'll hear from him in just a little bit. Marshall University Research Corporation, Dr. John Marr will be joining us here in about 30 minutes. And the West Virginia Municipal League and the support of the West Virginia Executive Magazine. Thank you, all the sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. As many of you know, the Alliance and Education Collaborative of 10 colleges and universities, and they include Bridge Valley Community and Technical College, West Virginia State University, Marshall University, Concord University, WVU Tech, the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine, Bluefield State College, New River Community Technical College, and Mount West Community and Technical College. You heard from many of these presidents yesterday in our Higher Education Presidents panel, and you will be hearing from one just here in a couple minutes. So a reminder of conference rules this morning. We have to learn something new, and we have to take something back to our community. Please check the schedule on wvsolutions.net. This is your online program book, so use it as speaker's bio, the full agenda. We made it for you to access it. Please remember that we are here to discuss West Virginia and here to celebrate. So be constructive and stay positive. Make sure you take a photo and use the hashtag WV Solutions on social media. We are giving away tons of $25 gift cards, and a little extra cash will help around the holiday season. So let's highlight our state and get people talking about West Virginia through social media. Reminder that each session will be recorded for future reference. For those of you who are wanting continuing education credits for today's sessions, please remember to put your name and email in the chat or Q&A session. That's how we're taking roll. Don't forget to test your luck every day at 11:15. This is a way that we have a little bit of fun, and we just love doing word puzzles. It's all West Virginia based. We're giving away $50 gift cards, $200 a day. It's tons of fun, and it only takes about 5 minutes. So why not, right? So let's start our program now. I have the great honor to introduce our morning speaker, Concord University's 12th president, Kendra Boggess. With a background and expertise in business education, Dr. Boggess truly understands our business community and plays a very important part in the Alliance. She has a great team, and they're truly supportive of the Alliance, and they're trying to enhance tourism in Southern West Virginia. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Dr. Kendra Boggess, President of Concord University. Madam President, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. It is such an honor to be able to be here, and I appreciate being asked to introduce Chelsea Ruby. Chelsea is the Commissioner of West Virginia's Division of Tourism. She was appointed by Governor Jim Justice in 2017. And frankly, I've heard nothing but wonderful things about what she's been able to accomplish. Before taking this position, she was the Director of Marketing and Communications for the West Virginia Department of Commerce. Prior to that, she worked in Governor Tomlin's communication office, and she served as the Executive Director of West Virginia's 150th birthday celebration. As Commissioner, Chelsea Ruby is leading the efforts to enhance and advance tourism development, to expand West Virginia's travel and tourism industries, and to promote the Mountain State to a broader audience, featuring West Virginia as a year-round travel destination to both national and international travelers. In 2018, Chelsea Ruby kicked off a campaign to rebrand West Virginia. Her team took the phrase almost heaven and created a research-based advertising approach that invoked the feeling of longing that most residents who leave West Virginia have for their home state. The goal was to invite visitors to find their own version of heaven in West Virginia. Using scenic shots of the Mountain State, underscored by John Denver's song Country Roads, the advertising campaign was a major success. It was recognized by the National Council of State Tourism Directors in 2019 as the United States Travel Association Mercury Awards. And West Virginia's commercial took first place in the category of television broadcast advertising. That's nothing to be ignored. On the Washington Post website, you can find an article, and it's entitled, "These Three West Virginia Towns Are a Breezy Weekend Escape from DC." This piece is targeted specifically to Beltway residents looking for a weekend getaway. Chelsea and her team beautifully sell West Virginia as a solution to congestion and stress. She states, "It's a place where you can escape the daily grind. We've got everything from outdoor recreation, music and dining, to true Appalachian culture in mountain towns of unrivaled charm." Chelsea Ruby is not only West Virginia's tourism commissioner, she's also a former city resident who chose to relocate. Who better to reach the borders, across borders, and show visitors the potentials of our great state? West Virginia's tourism industry has felt the impact of COVID-19, but what Chelsea Ruby's office is also seeing is an increase in residents taking advantage of all our state has to offer. Working closely with the governor's office and the governor, who's also always valued and prioritized tourism, Chelsea has been busy hosting virtual conferences on the West Virginia Tourism YouTube channel. The clips feature guest speakers giving expert advice to help businesses in the state adapt to the current economic situation. It is now my pleasure to introduce Commissioner Chelsea Ruby. Thank you so much for being here today, Chelsea.
Thank you, and I appreciate that wonderful introduction. You know, the part of tourism that people hear a lot about are all the ads and the numbers, but one part that often gets overlooked is how do we get people into the industry? How do we get students interested? Where do they get that training? So President, I want to thank you for your leadership in elevating tourism and helping us create those programs. So thanks to everybody joining today. I know that right now everyone has done just about as many video conferences as you can handle, but you decided to do one more today, and you're doing this one because you love West Virginia, you love your state, and you want to continue to see it grow. So thank you so much for being here. I also want to thank the organizers, the Alliance, the Hub, the Community Development Foundation, Marshall, Sarah, everybody who's worked on this. I told Sarah earlier, this is an ambitious agenda during regular times, but during COVID, it's even more so. So thanks to everyone who's made today possible. I am going to try to share my screen real quick. And we are going to start out with just a little bit of inspiration for this sunny Thursday morning.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road, take me home, country roads, take me home, country roads.
Right. So hopefully you could see that. I always show this, and as many times as I've seen it, it still gives me chills every time I see it. I have a 2-year-old, Caroline, and it's been really interesting over the past couple of weeks. Every morning she wakes up and she tells us it's leaves falling everywhere. And it's been interesting to kind of see the world through a 2-year-old, especially with everything on COVID. She wakes up every day and is so excited about beautiful West Virginia. And it's a great reminder that we really do live in paradise, live in one of the most beautiful places. So that's what we're showing folks that we're trying to inspire to come to West Virginia. So I just wanted to start with that. So I'm going to do something that's going to seem a little strange today. I'm not going to start by talking about COVID. We are going to pretend for a second that COVID is not here. And I want to really look back and tell you where we were before COVID hit the US. So as most of you know, tourism in West Virginia is big business. So each year, travelers in the US spend $4.6 billion in our state. That generates $534.5 million in state and local taxes, which then brings us 45,400 tourism supported jobs, and those folks make over 1.2 billion each year. You'll see some of these increased numbers on here from last year. We have seen some record-breaking growth over the last couple of years, which I'll talk about. But I just want to start, a lot of times people don't realize the true impact that tourism has. Without these taxes that are generated by travelers coming to West Virginia, each household in West Virginia would have to pay an additional $700 a year to just maintain the same level of state and local services that they have. So it's a really big part of our economy, and the best news is it's growing. So where does this money come from? You might be surprised to hear that we have over 65 million annual visitors to our state. 49 million of those are day trips, and 16.5 million are doing overnight stays. On average, they spend $161. And the best part is 74% of them give us a 5-star. One of my favorite statistics about West Virginia is this: 87% of people who visit our state come back. That tells us that the challenge, if there is a challenge, it's just getting new people. Because once we get them, they fall in love with West Virginia and they keep coming over and over. So I just wanted to start out with this to tell you what an impact tourism has. You'll see on here that there's several growth numbers. Again, these are pre-COVID. We'll talk about COVID shortly. But know that last year we were outpacing much of the country 58% above the national rate of growth. And under the Justice Administration, we've seen more than 10% growth in this industry, which really reversed several years of decline. So why is this happening? It's happening because the governor believes in tourism, the legislature believes in tourism, and all of you believe in tourism. For years and years, tourism was kind of seen as one of those industries down here. People liked it, it was always there, it was always providing this money, but we weren't thinking about it as a way to really grow our state's economy. And that has really changed over the last 4 years, and people are really thinking about it as one of the highlights. In addition to the state's investment in advertising, you've heard about all the investments that the governor's made in our state parks, over $100 million in investment, but we're also seeing a record level of private investment. So these numbers come from last year, and the metric that we're looking at here is the Tourism Development Act tax credit. The Tourism Development Act tax credit is one of the best tax credits in the entire nation as far as incentivizing people to invest in tourism. So huge thanks to the legislature for reauthorizing this last year. I'm thrilled to report that through this program, we have seen more than 250 million in new investments now. And this last year's investments represent 69% of the program's history. So we're really seeing a huge uptick. We started seeing more visitors, the state started investing more, and because of that, private companies started investing as well. So these were last year's projects. There's several that aren't on here. Even despite COVID, we have seen some great investments this year. There are a number of them on the Hatfield-McCoy trails that I think you'll hear about later today. And in Southern West Virginia, another one that's missing on here that's really important is all of the work being done by Perfect North on Timberline Resort. So we're really excited about these. And we've got probably a dozen in the pipeline that people are considering, and we're hoping will come through in the next year. So I do want to shift and talk about COVID and what COVID has done to the tourism industry. If you've watched any of the national coverage on the pandemic, you know that the travel and tourism industry is one of the industries that has been hit the hardest. We have seen nationally the lowest occupancy rates on records for hotels. This is an industry that just really got hit hard. When people started staying home, they stopped traveling less, and it's been slow to come back. So here's what it really looks like. These numbers are from Tourism Economics out of Oxford Economics, and they show the national weekly travel spending. And you see that in February, we were doing great, over 20 billion. Again, these are national numbers, over 20 billion a week in traveler spending. We went all the way down to 2 billion nationwide at the end of April. Now we've come back up. We're starting to see some declines with holidays coming up and a lot of talk of the vaccinations, but these are the national numbers. I am happy to tell you that although West Virginia's tourism industry has been hit hard, we have not seen this level of decline. There's a number of different reasons. One is that big cities have been hit the absolute hardest. So if you look at cities like LA, New York, Boston, Miami, they have seen the most drastic declines as people have exited those cities and have been slow to return to places with crowds. If you look at smaller cities, we're seeing better numbers. We're still down some, but we're seeing much, much better numbers. Anything relating to outdoor recreation is up because people are getting outside, they can socially distance, they're able to get out of the house. If you have tried to buy a bike in West Virginia this year, or a kayak, or you've tried to stay in a cabin, you know that this is true. So what I'd like to do today is spend a few minutes talking to you all about how people are traveling differently. So if you know me, you know I'm a huge research geek. I love to go through these numbers and read all of the latest travel and tourism research. So don't worry, this is only a few minutes. But I do want to talk to you about some of the main ways that travel has changed since COVID and how we're adapting. So a couple of major trends. The first one is the majority of people are still canceling or altering their plans. So we've been looking at this survey data that's come out weekly since COVID started. And this number has stayed relatively stable. About 60 to 70, at some point it was up to 80% of people who have travel planned in the next 6 months say that they're going to change their travel plans due to Corona. So if you just look at that as a number alone, you might think, oh my goodness, how could we have anybody in West Virginia? But look over to the right. And what you'll see is that 48% of those who are changing their plans are actually reducing their plans. So if you think about yourself or friends, you probably heard of a lot of people who were going to the beach this year. They may have canceled those beach vacations and decided to stay a little closer, decided to go to a cabin, do something more outdoor centric that had less people. So we have actually benefited from some of these people who were reducing traveler plans. You'll see that 36% of them are canceling their trips. Again, this is national data, but it gives you a good indicator. We're also seeing that people are preferring to drive as opposed to fly. West Virginia is primarily a drive market. We had started advertising in fly markets with the budget increase, but we pulled back on that for now. But being a drive market, we have fared a little better than some of the others because of that. And the last one is most obvious. People are switching from international to domestic trips. So that's trend number one. Trend number two is what I just mentioned, is that people still prefer road trips over air travel. So of people in America who have traveled since the pandemic started, only 23% of them have gone by air. If you look at people who've taken road trips, 58% of people have taken a road trip since March, which is a really incredible number, especially for a state like West Virginia who claims road trips as their main thing. And then the last thing I just put on here, just because it's really interesting to me to see how this one has fluctuated, is that as we look to holiday travel, little less than 30% of people are now saying that they're going to travel for the holiday. So that just gives you some idea of where we are. I will tell you these numbers fluctuate wildly each week. A lot of it, I think, has to do with the national media and trends and what's going on there, whether or not people feel comfortable traveling. So the next trend, the third one that I want to share, this is kind of a geeky one, but I think it's really fascinating, is that the booking window keeps getting shorter. So if we look to pre-COVID travelers, the majority of folks were at the very top of this chart. They were people who were planning their trips 61 to 90 days before their vacation. So people, you know, even if they didn't have every detail worked out, we didn't have as many last minute vacations. If you look to today and you look over the last couple of months, you see a really interesting phenomenon. And it's that people are really only planning their trips a couple of days in advance. So it has wreaked havoc on the hotel industry because there are so many cancellations, so many changes. You really don't know what your occupancy is for the weekend until Thursday or Friday. Because people, what they do is they wait to see what the COVID numbers look like in their area. They wait to see what the COVID numbers look like in the place they're going, and then they make a last minute decision, okay, yes, we're gonna go. So this one is something we're following. As we start advertising, this is gonna be something that is going to make it much more challenging and much different. We've always focused on inspiration and started there with people who are looking several months out, and then went further down the funnel with specific things to do. But now we're looking at new strategies. The next one is that they are thoroughly researching COVID. So you might think this seems like an obvious one, but I can tell you about 6 weeks ago, our research was showing us that people didn't want to see ads or didn't want to see masks in their ads. They wanted people to wear masks, but they were tired of that elevator music, sad commercial about how we're all in this together, and they wanted to pretend it wasn't happening. Now we're seeing the exact opposite. People want to know everything they can find out about the destination. The time on our website has gone up. People are looking at more pages. They want to know when they get there, where do they have to wear masks? Do they have to wear them indoors? Do they have to wear them outdoors? Where can they get food? Are restaurants open? Are the grocery stores open? Do they have to test when they get there? There's so many different things. So if you're a business or a community in West Virginia, I encourage you to put as much information as you possibly can on your website. Hotels especially, this has been a huge change. Hotels traditionally have had people clean at night so that nobody saw them. You didn't want to see somebody clean in the lobby of a hotel, but now hotels schedule them to clean all day so that people see the cleaning and know it's happening. So it's just a really big change in how people perceive travel destinations. Another one is that these traveler preferences really continue to shift. And this is why people are traveling. So we're seeing the biggest trend is that people are traveling more domestically. The same thing is true in West Virginia. West Virginians are traveling more in West Virginia. We're also seeing that people are traveling more with their family and less with friends. We're seeing that they're visiting more national parks, state parks, and public lands, really anything outdoors. People love to be outdoors right now. And we're seeing, that they want to visit the bigger cities less and less. So what does all this mean? Like I said, I could go on and on about how these things have changed and where people consume media and all of these things, but I want to really tie it together and tell you, what does this mean for West Virginia? And what does this mean for our communities who tourism is the foundation of so many West Virginia communities right now? So the first thing I'll tell you, and I don't want to get into great detail, but that we are providing our partners some additional assistance. So the governor has the small business grant program where small businesses can apply. We are also helping all of our partners with advertising. So we will now pay up to 80% of their media costs. And then of course we partner with a lot of fairs and festivals, and there was funding for that too. Again, I don't want to get into great detail on this, but if anybody has a community or a partner that needs additional assistance, they aren't able to advertise right now because of the COVID declines, please have them reach out to me and I will make sure that they get some help. But this is what I really want your takeaway to be from today, is that I believe we have a tremendous, and I mean tremendous, opportunity to position West Virginia as the ultimate post-COVID destination. So like I said, I obsessively look through all of the research on what people want to do post-COVID, what they want to do right now. And there's 5 things that I have found in every single piece of research I've seen. Number 1 is that they want to go to less crowded spots. Number 2 is that they want to visit charming small towns. They want to get away from the bigger cities where they've traditionally vacationed, and they want to go to small towns. Number 3, they want to be outside. So whether they are an avid rock climber or somebody who just loves to sit and look at beautiful sunsets like this one here at Dolly Sods, they want to be outside. 4th one, affordability. People are factoring finances into their vacation plans more than ever. Some people have a little more money because of the stimulus checks back in the spring. Other people have been laid off or furloughed, and they're really looking for something more affordable. But people, for the most part, are really trying to stretch their dollars and do as many smaller trips as possible. And the 5th one, the one I'm most excited about, is road trips. They're not wanting to fly right now. They're really getting into this idea of road trips. And these are all things that we have here in West Virginia. So while many of my counterparts in other states are scurrying around to come up with new commercials and new ads, we're not. We're going to be selling the same thing that we've always sold. We'll really lean into our strengths. Next year is going to be the 50th anniversary of John Denver's Country Roads. So it is going to be the year of the road trip in West Virginia. And we are so excited to continue promoting that. So again, if there's one thing you take away from today, it's that all of our communities have tourism potential. And even though COVID has hit us hard and many of our partners are still struggling, I think that we have an unbelievably bright future ahead of us. And I am so excited to work with all of our partners as we navigate this in the coming year. But it is going to be a really great opportunity for West Virginia to shine, and to shine for all the reasons that people have been coming here for years and years. So again, thanks for your time. Thanks for having me here today. Here's my email address. If anybody has questions or anybody has a business or a CVB or something in their community that needs help, please don't hesitate to give me a call or send me an email. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. We appreciate you very much. What a wonderful conversation, and enlightening us with all that information. That's a lot of data to unpack, and let us chew on that for a while, and continue to grow West Virginia's economy. So thank you for you and your entire staff. We really appreciate everything that you are doing.
Likewise.
And now I'd like to transition to Dr. John Marr. Welcome, John. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. If you just allow me just 1 second to deal with my messy electronic desktop. Hey, I just want to, Commissioner Ruby, those were fantastic remarks. And I do want to commend you, Sarah, and Brittany, and the other organizers, and all of the speakers for just a marvelously stimulating and informative conference so far. I think the dialogue that takes place outside of this conference will be what really makes the conference. But so far, this has been fantastic. So thank you all. It's my pleasure right now on behalf of Marshall University to welcome Kris Warner to the virtual stage here. Kris was appointed by President Trump in November 2017 as the State Director of USDA Rural Development in West Virginia. He has more than 30 years of experience in residential, commercial, and energy development. He brings his experience as an entrepreneur, small business owner, and community leader, and his experience in working successfully with a variety of public and private sector leaders to improve our communities and build stronger, more diverse economies. As State Director, Kris uses his leadership experience to oversee rural development programs in a customer-focused manner, promote prosperity in rural West Virginia. So Kris, thank you yesterday for your pithy comments on broadband distribution, and we welcome you back to the small communities stage here. Thank you.
Hey, John, thank you very much for that kind introduction. I gotta say, Commissioner Ruby, I'm really impressed with those nature shots. I think my favorite one is at the very beginning of your slideshow in Lewis County. It can be found there about milepost 89.5. Not that I've ever paid attention before, but that's a beautiful view with the fog setting in the valleys there. I encourage anybody to stop, take a look, grab your own picture if you get that opportunity. Kind of dangerous there. You don't have a real big berm to pull over on, but it's a beautiful sight. Good morning. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to represent USDA Rural Development and share a brief overview of the agency and our more than 40 programs that can support the work that you do every day. Again, I'm Kris Warner. I'm the State Director for Rural Development here in West Virginia for the Department of Agriculture. Also today, joining me will be Jana Lowry, our Community Programs Director, and Brandy Burwell, the Business Program Director, and also serving as our acting Housing Program Director. Again, I was appointed by the President as State Director in November of 2017. And I just want you to know I consider it a privilege to be able to serve the rural communities of West Virginia through this agency. And I can tell you our staff is committed to the effective and efficient delivery of a variety of programs to support the economic vitality of these areas, because we know when rural West Virginia thrives, all of America thrives. Would you advance the next slide, please? I'm going to go ahead. I don't see the slide there, Sarah. We should have the one with the 29 different agencies. There you go. Thank you very much. So USDA consists of 29 agencies that work at the local, state, and regional levels to provide support not only for agriculture, but rural development, food, natural resources, and nutrition. Next slide. Many of you may already know that USDA Rural Development is a federal agency committed to improving the economy and quality of life in rural America. Next slide. At Rural Development, we represent 3 of those USDA agencies. We have the Rural Business and Cooperative Service, the Rural Utilities Service, and the Rural Housing Service. Together, these 3 agencies comprise USDA's Rural Development Mission Area, which is dedicated to improving the quality of life and economy in rural America. In all, USDA Rural Development administers more than 40 programs, including a number of important funds to provide affordable housing for low-income rural Americans, finance rural business development and expansion, and invest in new approaches to rural economic development. Next slide. So what do we do? What do we really do? Our work is really centered around increasing the flow of capital to rural communities and promoting investment in the future of our rural communities across the country. Next slide. So how do we do what we do? How is it done? You may ask, but USDA Rural Development offers loans, grants, and loan guarantees to support essential services such as housing, economic development, healthcare, first responder services and equipment, and water, electric, and communications infrastructure. Next slide. So yesterday I had the pleasure of participating in the broadband panel moderated by Director Charlie Denny from the West Virginia Department of Commerce Office of Broadband. For those who were not able to attend the panel, rural development has several broadband expansion programs, but I want to mention 3 in particular this morning. The Distance Learning and Telemedicine Program helps rural communities use the unique capabilities of telecommunications to connect each other and to the world, overcoming the effects of remoteness and low population density. For example, this program can link teachers and medical service providers in one area to students and patients in another. We just had the opportunity here in the last 2 weeks to announce a $430,000 distance learning and telemedicine grant that will benefit the areas of Kaiser and Moorfield. Next is the Community Connect grant program. This helps provide broadband service in rural, economically challenged communities where broadband service is less than 10 megabits downstream and 1 upstream. We currently are accepting applications through midnight on December 23rd for this program. Third, we have the Reconnect Loan and Grant Program, which offers unique federal financing and funding options in the form of loans, grants, and loan grant combinations to facilitate broadband deployment in areas of rural America that do not currently have sufficient access to broadband. And our Telecommunications Infrastructure Program provides financing for the construction, maintenance, improvement, and expansion of telephone service and broadband in rural areas. Specifically, our broadband programs provide loans for facilities and equipment to provide broadband service to eligible rural communities. Before I turn things over to Brandy Burwell, I got to brag on the agency and just tell you that in the last year alone, November 1st to November 1st, we were able to attract just over $46 million in those broadband programs that I've just mentioned for the state of West Virginia. So with that, I want to turn things over to Brandy Burwell, our Business Program Director and Acting Housing Program Director, to present information about programs available to support job creation and job retention. Brandy?
I have the privilege of overseeing divisions at USDA Rural Development. One is the Business Programs Division and the other is the Housing Division. So I'm going to start with the Business Division and tell you a little bit about the programs we have available. The first one is our flagship program. It's called the Business and Industry Loan Guarantee. It's very similar to SBA's program. SBA goes up to $5 million, we go up to $25 million. We have loan guarantees available for business loans, commercial lenders. In fiscal year 21, the loans will receive an 80% guarantee. There are fees involved, but it does help a lot of small businesses. We do all kinds of industry in this program, so hotels, restaurants, very small businesses like laundromats we've even done, so to large manufacturing facilities. So it's a really, really good program. The maximum population is 50,000, so pretty much every area of the state qualifies currently, except for the city of Charleston, and we're using the 2010 census figures, so when the 2020 figures come out, that may change, but that program is available to assist small businesses and businesses of any size, really, with loan guarantees. Again, they'll have to get a commercial lender involved. We'll assist them in doing that. And then we at USDA would provide a guarantee if they were eligible. They do have to have sufficient equity and collateral, and we do go by the 5 C's of credit. So we will assist the lender and the borrower with the application. The second program I want to talk about is Rural Business Development Grant. Can you go back to the last slide, please? It's the Rural Business Development Grant. It's designed to support targeted technical assistance, training, and other activities leading to the development or expansion of small and emerging businesses. Eligible applicants for this program are nonprofits, public bodies, and institutions of higher education. I get a lot of questions as to whether businesses can apply for this grant because it's called a business development grant, but no, they cannot. It has to be a nonprofit or a public body like a town or a county or an institution of higher education. And it is designed basically to provide funding to that eligible entity who would then go out and provide technical assistance to businesses. Examples of this would be feasibility studies to maybe convert a building into a farmer's market where lots of businesses are going to get assisted. Perhaps a nonprofit wants to start a revolving loan fund, or perhaps an entity would like to hire a business coach or someone to help businesses. It's a really, really good program. It can help ag producers and businesses. And the deadline for this new application for fiscal year 21 will be February 26th. If you are interested, you can contact me and I'll get you an application. The next program I want to go over is the rural. Can you go back to the next slide, please? Last slide. I'm going to be on this slide for a while. The next program is the Rural Energy for America program. It's called REAP. We have both grant funding and guaranteed loan financing to agricultural producers and rural small businesses in this program. Basically, it's to purchase or install renewable energy systems or make energy efficiency improvements. So if you have, let's say, a small business that wants to install solar panels on their roof, or let's say you have a restaurant that wants energy efficient refrigerators. If you have an ag producer that wants something on site like wind energy or a biodigester, those are all eligible projects. Grants are up to 25% of the total project cost, and we also have guaranteed loans available for 75% of the total project cost. So they can ask for a grant, a loan guarantee, or both. All right, next program we have available is the Value Added Producer Grant. This program helps agricultural producers enter into value added activities related to processing or marketing of value added products. So for instance, the eligible applicant would be an agricultural producer and they would be marketing value added products. So for example, if they had tomatoes and they wanted to turn them into salsa and they wanted to get costs related to website for marketing or put labels on the jars, those are examples of eligible projects that we could potentially fund. It is a 50% grant and there is deadlines throughout the year, so you'll need to contact us if you're interested in that program. The next one is the Intermediary Relending Program. It provides low interest direct loans to local intermediaries such as nonprofits and public bodies that then in turn will relend the money to businesses and for community development projects in rural communities. So the IRP program is a direct loan that goes to an intermediary, and then that intermediary then in turn provides the loan to other entities like businesses in the community. The next program is very similar to IRP. It's called Rural Micro Enterprise Assistance Program, called RMAP. But in this program, it's not just a direct loan. We also have a grant available. So it's direct loan and grant to micro enterprise development organizations, nonprofits, or institutions of higher education that want to provide micro loans to very small businesses for startups and things like that. And again, that is a direct loan or grant, and that entity would then in turn provide loans to those micro entrepreneurs or enterprises. Next slide, please. I also oversee the home ownership programs and the housing programs. One of those programs is the 502 Direct program. I want to talk about that for a minute. The 502 Direct program provides loans for home ownership. We also have a Section 504 for home repair, and we do have a grant available. And we also have a single family housing guaranteed loan program available for moderate income. Next slide, and I'll delve a little bit more into the housing programs. So the 502 direct home loan provides funds to assist low and very low income applicants obtain decent, safe, and sanitary housing in eligible rural areas. The eligible rural area is 35,000 or less population. They must be low or very low income and be unable to obtain credit elsewhere. We do have fixed interest rates with no down payments. Right now, our interest rate is 2.5%, and it's been there for a while. The term is 33 or 38 years, depending on the income, and they do have to have good credit, and usually that's 640 or above. We do have packagers that can help them package their loan, or they can apply by themselves. It's a really, really good program. We do have income limits based on the county. So if you have a person that's interested in a home loan, they can contact me, and I can put them in touch with the area office that they need to get an application from. The next program is the 504 Home Repair Program. It's designed to assist the very low income homeowners to repair, improve, modernize their homes and provide grants to elderly, very low income homeowners to remove health and safety issues or hazards. In order to apply for the home repair program, they have to be a homeowner and occupy the house, and it does have to be an eligible rural area. They have to be unable to obtain credit elsewhere. The grant is only available to very low income homeowners that are 62 years or older. So they do have to be elderly to qualify for the grant. But for the loan, you can be any age, and those are available for low and very low income homeowners at a fixed 1% interest rate with no down payment. It's a really, really good program for people that need to make repairs to their homes. So let's say make repairs to the roof, or if they have health or safety issues at their home, we've done wheelchair accessible ramps and things like that. So it's a really good program. Next slide, please. I'm going to turn this over to Jana Lowry, who's the director of our community programs, and she'll take you through the rest of the slides.
Thank you very much, Brandy. As Kris mentioned, my name is Jana Lowry, and I am the Director of Community Programs for the state of West Virginia. And community programs includes both our water and environmental programs and our community facilities program. Regarding the water and environmental programs, I'm going to focus on our most heavily utilized program here in the state, which is our water and waste disposal loan and grant program. This program provides loan and grant funding to public utility systems for clean and reliable drinking water systems, sanitary sewage disposal, sanitary solid waste disposal, and stormwater drainage. Eligible applicants include municipalities and public service districts here in the state, as well as nonprofit associations such as water associations. Also, nationally, federally recognized tribes are eligible for the program as well, and the systems need to be located in an area with a population of 10,000 or less. This is the only federal funding program that focuses solely on the rural areas with a population of 10,000 or less. So we're again, very heavily utilized here in the state. The types of funding that are available are long-term low-interest loans, and grants may be combined with a loan if it's necessary to keep user costs reasonable. The loan term is up to a 40-year payback period based on the useful life of the facilities that are being financed, and that interest rate is fixed. The interest rate is based on the need for the project and the median household income of the area to be served. You should contact the agency for detailed information about the current interest rate. So how can these loan and grant funds be used? We can finance new construction, improvements to existing systems, and expansions of existing systems for drinking water sourcing, treatment, storage, and distribution, sewer collection, transmission, treatment, and disposal, solid waste collection, disposal, and closure, and stormwater collection, transmission, and disposal. Funds can also be used for related soft costs such as legal and engineering fees, land acquisition, permits, and equipment. Okay, and next slide, please. Okay, another heavily utilized program are community facilities, direct loan and grant, which provides funding to develop essential community facilities in rural areas with a population of 20,000 or less. So a little bit different population threshold there from our water and environmental programs. What is an essential community facility? It's a facility that provides an essential service to the local community for the orderly development of the community in a rural area and does not include private, commercial, or business undertakings. Some examples of this include healthcare facilities such as hospitals, medical clinics, dental clinics, nursing homes, or assisted living facilities, public safety facilities such as fire departments, police stations, town halls, courthouses, street improvements, public safety equipment such as vehicles, trucks, public works vehicles, or equipment for your police and fire departments, educational services such as museums or libraries, and local food systems such as community gardens, food pantries, community kitchens, food banks, or food hubs. Again, the same type of applicant as in the water and environmental program, public bodies, which could be both county and municipal governments, and community-based nonprofit associations. The types of funding that are available, again, are low interest loans, direct loans where the government is the lender, and grants, or a combination of the two. Based on funding levels, the loan funds are mainly used for construction, renovation, and purchase of real estate, and our grant funds are utilized for the purchase of vehicles and equipment. There are 4 levels of grant eligibility, which are based on the population and the median household income of the area to be served. It's not a 100% grant levels. The 4 levels of eligibility are 75% grant, 55%, 35%, and then 15%. Again, that's a sliding scale based on population and median household income. The match for the grant can be our loan funds or can be other federal, state, or local funds. There's no restriction on the type of match for those community facilities grants. I'll also just wrap up by mentioning that both of these programs, both the water and waste disposal program and the community facilities programs, have guaranteed loan funds available, and those guarantees are made to commercial lenders for loans to eligible applicants, which meet the same eligibility requirements as the direct loan program. And currently for this fiscal year, that guarantee is 80%. Also for both of these programs, applications are accepted year-round. And I am going to then turn it back over to Kris to wrap up. Thank you.
In closing, I would just like to mention that we're very proud that in fiscal year 2019, USDA Rural Development invested more than $412 million in loans and grants to communities, businesses, and individuals across West Virginia. You can see there the results of the 3 program areas that we covered this morning. And I would just ask you in the next slide is our contact information. And you're welcome to reach out at any time to any of us at USDA Rural Development. And Sarah, thank you for putting on a fabulous conference this year virtually. This concludes our presentation.
Thank you very much, Director. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate your team, and we're going to go back to John Marr.
Yes, now that we've had a chance to hear from some of our most valued federal partners, we'd like to bring you into a segment where we're going to be talking to some of our most potent economic development partners from the private sector. Beginning with Brooks Crislip. Brooks serves as the Director of the Business Development for West Virginia American Water. He's responsible for helping the company expand and its service area for both water and wastewater operations. Prior to joining West Virginia American Water, Brooks performed similar functions in the natural gas production, pipeline, and also in the medical industries. He's a graduate of West Virginia University and UT College of Law, and Brooks is a lifelong West Virginia resident. So Brooks, thank you very much for joining us today, and take it from here. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Mayer. I appreciate the introduction. And again, I'm Brooks Crislip. I'm the Director of Business Development for West Virginia American Water, and welcome to my living room. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to virtually share with this group, and I'm excited to discuss some of the things that West Virginia American Water has been doing around the state. Just as a little bit, quick overview, West Virginia American Water is the largest private water service provider in the state. We serve more than 565,000 people across 365 communities, just all over the state. We've got a team of about 300 really talented, highly skilled professionals carrying out our main responsibility, which is to get safe, reliable water and wastewater services to our customers 24 hours a day. We're constantly monitoring, maintaining, upgrading our facilities to ensure that not only are they operating efficiently, but that we're meeting all the regulatory standards we need to do. And this requires a lot of time investment. We've invested millions each year in our infrastructure. We upgrade and replace everything from treatment plants to tanks, pump stations, pipes, fire hydrants, metering equipment. And, really, at the end of the day, we do this because we care about our customers as much as we care about water. Over the course of just 2019 alone, we invested just over $76 million to improve the water treatment and pipeline systems across the state. So, speaking for myself as a lifelong West Virginian, it's always great for me to work on things and see ideas put into practice with regards to finding solutions to some of the challenges that the state faces, particularly right now. I think one of the things that's great about West Virginia is it's unique, and because of that, it presents unique challenges. It's a beautiful state, and it's also the challenges of the topography make it difficult for some areas to grow economically. So, when it comes to water, I think many of us take for granted that we're going to turn on our faucet and that clean water is going to be readily available. I know I'm guilty of that. But for many West Virginians and for many cities and towns across the state, it might not be that easy. Water access might be an issue. Water quality might be an issue. Aging infrastructure might be an issue. And access to funds and resources to make those needed repairs presents another challenge in itself. And it impacts across our various communities. And those are challenges that we at West Virginia American Water, as a West Virginia-based company, are acutely aware of. And so I think it's one thing to recognize and identify those issues, but then it's really another to work towards solutions for them. And we're fully committed to providing those solutions, because ultimately the communities we operate in, the customers we serve, and the partnerships we develop are our most valuable assets. And we really strive to put an emphasis on those. Just a couple quick examples here. We have an environmental grant program, for example, where we provide grants to community-based projects that will improve or restore and protect our source water and surrounding watersheds. We provide grants to assist fire companies that help them purchase fire equipment and maybe additional training needs. We provide plant tours of our facilities for school groups, scout troops, various civic organizations. Again, this is back when pre-2020, back when that was a thing people could do. But there are things that we've done in the past where we give people the opportunity to sort of see firsthand how water's treated and delivered to your home. We have a mobile hydration system that serves up cold water and things like community events, walks, runs, that type of thing. And in addition, we do a variety of presentations on water-related topics of all sorts at schools and events in various communities. So those are just a few of the ways that we take an active part in the communities that we serve. I want to take here, hopefully the technology will work, and I think Eric has it queued up, but I want to take about 2 or 3 minutes and show a real quick video that illustrates another example of some additional solutions-based kind of community-focused approaches. And then I'll talk a little bit more specifically about what some of those look like, but if we could go ahead and fire up the video. So hopefully everyone's sound and tech is working, and we'll give that a shot here.
I was born and raised here, and spent my childhood here. Went to Cedar Grove, went to DuPont, then decided to go in the Air Force. I spent 22 years in the Air Force. You know, when I first retired, probably right around 2013-14 is when the plant shut down and our revenue stopped. And you know, that's when we started feeling the crunch. I've always been one of those people that you can either stand by the sidelines and watch things happen, or you can get involved. And like I said, seeing what was going on, and knew immediately after sitting through a few council meetings that maybe they could use my help. And I petitioned to be on the council, and I was accepted. When I first took over, it was apparent to me that the Cosco water system was in complete disrepair. You know, we had probably 60–70% water loss, and didn't have any means to fix it. West Virginia American Water has been fantastic, and there's been a couple occasions that they've actually had to come in and help us fix some mainline water issues so that so we could restore water to the hill. And they come in, no questions asked. They were up here in a matter of an hour and took care of everything. West Virginia American Water stepped up, and like I said, from day one, they've been absolutely fantastic. They've come in, like I said, they've come in, fixed leaks that we've had, and you know, and detected leaks that we didn't even know we had and stuff there. And like I said, I can't say enough good things about them. Now that we don't have the financial burden of the water system, we're going to have the ability to focus on some areas of concern that need to be addressed. And this water system has basically consumed us for my administration for the last year. And once we get this off the plate, we'll be able to focus on some things, and hopefully we can stay incorporated for the next 100 years.
All right, well, thank you for that. I think that's really a great example of a community that was struggling to provide quality water, and that we were able to help. We purchased Glasgow's water system and began providing water to their community earlier this year, and that had really a tremendous impact on their ability to redirect their resources and attention to areas that were really the most important to them. And it's not an uncommon issue across the state. You see a lot of towns that are struggling and that need help in that particular area with regards to water and wastewater. But likewise, there's a lot of towns that might be in an altogether different situation, where they're fully financially viable. They don't have any issues on that front necessarily, but they simply want to be out of the utility business. They want to provide other services or other areas where they just like to focus their resources, and that's an area where we can help as well. So yeah, I'll take just a couple minutes here as we kind of wrap to talk about a few specifics, some of which I think are really potential game changers for many communities across the state. A pretty key piece of legislation went into effect in June of this year. It's Senate Bill 551, and it does a couple things. The first part of the legislation, which is referred to as fair value, it allows, for example, West Virginia American Water to offer to any public service district or community that wants to sell their water system, lets us offer a purchase price that really better reflects the current value of their assets, not maybe the value. It used to be it was the value at the time of construction. Time of construction might have been 50 years ago, might have been 100 years ago. I mean, it could be a really old water system. So yeah, in short, it allows for a broader negotiation range and allows essentially us being a private company to pay more money to a community for the system. Now, the second part of that legislation deals with sort of the back end of that and what that community can do with the proceeds from a completed sale. So previously, prior to June, there were a lot of restrictions with regards to how a city or a town could spend any proceeds from such a sale. This really expands that to permit everything from reducing taxes, making a really broad range of capital investments in public projects, purchasing law enforcement vehicles or equipment, tearing down maybe old dilapidated buildings, constructing or improving flood walls or stormwater systems, or maybe even addressing issues with maybe municipal pension. So there's a lot of ways for communities to innovate and to find an answer to a problem, or maybe just provide an opportunity for growth or improvement in some direction that they might not have had before. So that's something we're really looking to moving forward as a company, something we're really excited about being able to help in some of those situations. Again, whether it's a situation like Glasgow where they really need out of it, or maybe it's a situation with another town that might be on different footing and just wants to be able to redirect some of their focus. So things we're really excited about. Yeah, and in addition to those, we'll also partner with communities through what we call public-private partnerships, wherein we'll work with an area public service district in obtaining some grant funding to allow water line extensions to be constructed that can provide water to parts of the community that might not have had it before. So really that's a great way to reach pockets of West Virginia that maybe are a little bit more remote and harder to get to. That public-private partnership mechanism provides a real tool for helping those folks as well. So again, that's just kind of a quick overview of what we're doing and what we hope to do. I think it's certainly an exciting time to be involved on this part of the economically developing kind of communities and what we can do there. And I'm really optimistic about the future of the state and hope we can take some really significant steps in that arena towards helping some communities grow here in the coming years. So again, I want to thank everyone for the opportunity, and best wishes with the rest of the presentations. And with that, I will turn it back over to Dr. Mayer.
Well, thank you so much, Brooks, for that wonderful look into West Virginia American Water. We appreciate your partnership with our West Virginia communities, and thank you for bringing up to speed and providing that update. Very insightful. And now I would like to turn it over to Brandon Dennison, one of our hosts today. Brandon is going to introduce our next speaker. So Brandon, hello, how are you doing?
Doing just fine. It's been a great morning so far, and very honored to introduce Andrew Dawson. He's a colleague and a friend. Andrew is the market president for United Bank. He is a proud Marshall University graduate, and I'm proud to say he's on the Coalfield Development Board of Directors. One of my favorite newspaper articles in the Herald-Dispatch this entire last year was about Andrew, and it touched on his professional expertise, but it also shared something that I didn't quite realize the extent of. Andrew is a marathon runner, and that was September 5th. As of September 5th, Andrew had a streak of 637 days in a row running at least 1 mile, and some days many more miles than just one. I thought that was incredible, showed tremendous discipline and commitment, but I also think that's a good, it's a good metaphor for this conference. We're talking about small communities, big solutions. We also know there are big problems, and sometimes it's hard to know where to begin, and it's hard to see light at the end of the tunnel. But the solutions so often are just in putting one foot in front of the other and just keep going, and day by day and mile by mile and week by week and year by year, the results do start to add up and things do get better and the solutions do emerge. So check that out at the Herald-Dispatch from September 5th if you can. And with that, I will welcome Andrew Dawson, who is going to talk about our awards for today. Andrew, welcome.
Thank you very much, Brandon, and I'm happy to report the streak is still alive, and coming up this Saturday will be 2 consecutive years of running at least a mile.
That's
so
awesome. I didn't want to put you on the spot because I was worried if the streak had stopped, that might like be embarrassing in front of 200 people. So congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats.
No. So thanks for that that little brag on me. And you know, to sort of dovetail off of what Brandon had started to mention, you know, I've gotten to know Brandon on a professional and personal level, both from a banking perspective and like Brandon had mentioned, as a board member of Coalfield Development. And really, I can tell you that there's no one else who I have ever met that is more passionate and more active in bringing change to Southern West Virginia. So as a region, we are very fortunate to have someone like Brandon working to make a difference. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, Brandon. I'd also like to take a minute just to thank all of the organizations and individuals who have worked so hard to put together this conference in such a challenging environment. I think I can speak for everyone listening today that all of the effort that has been put into planning this event is very much appreciated and well worth the effort. Getting this many people together, whether it's in person or like we are today in a virtual setting, all of these people wanting to make a difference and getting together is truly game changing for our region. And it's going to produce so many positive outcomes, not only for the remainder of this year, but for many years to come. So being here on behalf of United Bank, I want to say that we are very proud to be the program sponsor for the 3rd consecutive year. Although there has been a lot that has changed since that first event, especially in the COVID era, I think one thing remains the same, that we are all passionate about coming up with solutions to make West Virginia a better place. And that's by sharing ideas at this conference of what's working in our individual communities, how we've solved problems in our communities, and quite frankly, what we can do better. So over this next segment, which I was able to give last year, you're going to hear about individuals and organizations who are working to solve problems and make our communities a better place. You're going to hear about people who are looking around their communities and realizing that they need to step up and solve problems that they are seeing. These individuals, they are figuring out new ways to put people to work, how to revitalize once thriving communities, and how to change the lives of those around them. Those who are going to be honored today have truly shown what I believe is the spirit of West Virginia. They've showed resilience and resourcefulness. They have solved problems by displaying grit and determination. They have helped those in their communities by showing compassion and empathy. These are all qualities that I think that West Virginians exemplify, and I'm sure that there are so many more qualities that those on here today could point out. Today, you're going to hear about those making a difference in the health and well-being of so many in our region. You're going to hear about someone doing amazing things for those suffering from substance use disorder. You're going to hear about alternative energy and putting so many people in Southern West Virginia back to work. You're going to hear about a company that is training tech talent right here in our own backyard and doing work on a national and international scale. And finally, you're going to hear about someone who's working to save local newspapers in Southern West Virginia. Everyone who is here today is working to change the narrative about the state we love, and especially those who are being honored with the Power of Performance Awards today. So I'm excited to hear the stories of each honoree, what they've done and are continuing to do to make West Virginia a better place for each and every one of that. With that, I'd like to introduce Kathy Cosco, who will recognize each of our honorees. Kathy.
Hey, Kathy, you're on mute.
Thank you for that. Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. It's truly an honor for Brittany, Bruce, and I to present the 2021 Power of Performance Awards. The team behind the Small Communities Big Solutions Conference created these awards to highlight those who are driving success in Southern West Virginia. And in each of the categories, except for one, we recognize 2 recipients. Since the first conference in 2018, many individuals, employers, nonprofits, and institutions have been recognized for their remarkable work in the 21 county regions served by members of the Alliance for Economic Development of Southern West Virginia. We're pleased that we received a number of nominations in each of the categories this year, and we encourage those of you who are participating to keep an eye out for our announcements next year for next year's awards, because we do indeed want to honor and recognize the people who are stepping up to make a difference in their communities. Before we present the awards though, Brittany, would you step in and share what the award looks like, a little bit of background about it, and who helped us create this award, because it's a really neat thing.
Yeah, of course, Kathy. And first of all, I wanted to kind of thank you for helping with our awards program this year under some pretty unique circumstances. We greatly appreciate everything that you've done to make this program a success. So like last year, we reached out to John Larson, and he is a West Virginia artisan. And he creates some pretty unique awards by taking scraps of Blinko glass to create really unique pieces of art. So we wanted to have him design 2 awards this year, one being our Power of Performance Award and the other being our Small Communities Big Solutions Advocate Award. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly share those with you. So this one right here is our Power of Performance Honoree Award. It turned out phenomenal, and so we thank him for his work on this one. And then we also have our Small Communities Big Solutions Advocate Award. And I really like how he incorporated the state outline in this piece. We also reached out to him to see if he could incorporate a flame or a light in these awards. And we felt like this was really important because the individuals receiving this award are truly lighting the way in their community and in the state. So these turned out great, and we appreciate his work again this year to create those for us. So following the program today, I will be reaching out to each of our honorees just to make sure I have your correct shipping address to get those mailed out first thing next week. So with that, I just want to say a quick congratulations to all of our awards recipients, and I will turn it back over to Kathy.
Thank you, Brittany. And I want to, I appreciate your thanks for my participation, but I feel like I've done such a very small part. You really, as a logistics coordinator, have done the yeoman's work of pulling this together and helping the committee in the awards selection process. So thanks to you. And I think that these awards are something that each of our recipients will be very proud to display once they receive them. So now, without further ado, let's present our 2021 Power of Performance Awards. Power of Performance honorees are selected from one of the following categories: putting people to work, revitalizing communities, changing lives, and a 4th award is the Small Communities Big Solutions Advocate. The first category is the Putting People to Work category. It was created to recognize people and organizations that are putting people to work. Whether through training, connecting workers with existing jobs, or hiring workers, recipients of this award are helping to connect potential employees with job opportunities. The first recipient is Dan Conant. Born and raised in West Virginia, Dan left for a few years to attend college and gain experience in the solar industry. But he always intended to return to his home state. After helping start up the largest solar installer in Vermont, Dan pursued a Master's of Science from Johns Hopkins in Energy, Policy, and Climate. Upon earning his degree, he then got a job with the U.S. Department of Energy and served as a technical advisor to their Sunshot Initiative, a DOE effort to increase and support solar energy affordability. Following his time in government, in 2013, Conant was ready to take a leap of faith and help expand access to solar back here at home with the establishment of Solar Holler. Solar Holler has been focused on expanding clean, affordable electricity and creating family-sustaining jobs in communities that have been traditionally left behind. The company has installed panels on churches, libraries, schools, and other community organizations. Headquartered in Huntington, Solar Holler employs a diverse team of more than 40 full-time employees ranging from sales, designers, technicians, electricians, installers, and project managers. Congratulations to Dan Conant and Solar Holler for putting people to work. Dan, we invite you to say a few words at this time.
Well, thank you so much for the honor and for having me. I've got to say it's really incredible seeing the team of dedicated folks we've built across West Virginia, not just in Huntington, but in Shepherdstown and Fairmont and Charleston. We've got a really wide-ranging team that is spread out across the Mountain State, and it's been a wild 7 years as we've kind of grown from idea on the back of a napkin to, you know, having 40 out. It's every day is crazy. Every day is fun, and to them, I really couldn't do it. You know, really wouldn't be here without all the amazing people on the Solar Holler team.
Well, thank you very much, Dan, and congratulations. Our second recipient for the Putting People to Work category is Todd Cope of Central App. As CEO of Central App, Todd Cope strives to connect companies in need of tech talent with qualified workers from throughout the Appalachian region. A native West Virginian, Todd is deeply committed to promoting equal economic opportunity through the extension of tech jobs in rural areas. He cut his professional teeth in Silicon Valley and is named on several U.S. patents from his time as a circuit designer. Todd has served in executive level roles for technology companies ranging from healthcare IT and semiconductors to automotive, and spanning both U.S. coasts as well as Asia and Europe. Todd earned a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Carnegie Mellon University and a master's of business administration in finance and marketing from Santa Clara University. Central App's free training programs, which were offered online long before the pandemic ever made this a common everyday thing, have helped West Virginians who have no previous tech experience make career changes. One of Central App's graduates earned his Salesforce certification, which led to the opportunity to work on developing projects for internationally known organizations, including NBC Universal, Voodoo, and pop superstar Iggy Azalea. Congratulations to Todd Cope and Central App for putting people to work. Todd, we invite you to say a few words at this time, if you would.
Great. Hi, everyone. Is my mic working okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. So thanks for that. Great to see everybody. I'll do a little bit quick intro, a little more about my history. It's been a long round trip, starting in West Virginia, going across the world, and getting back to West Virginia. Again, was born here, raised in Putnam County. Grandfathers are both coal miners. Went to school, as you stated, up in Pittsburgh at Carnegie Mellon University. Straight out to Silicon Valley, started designing computer circuits. Got experience firsthand the dot-com boom and bust as well. During that time, was sent to Penang, Malaysia to set up an offshoring tech center. So I've sort of seen that from the other side. And then worked 5 years in Philadelphia for a tech company. And then a couple years ago, found out what Central App was doing and really wanted to be a part of that. And the mission at Central App is nothing less than wanting to think of people, have people think of Appalachia generally and West Virginia specifically about outsourcing tech. So not necessarily India or Eastern Europe, but let's think about Appalachia. Fully understanding that is a long-term heavy lift, but that is what we're trying to do. And I think, as you guys probably believe as well, we think talent is equally distributed, but opportunities are not. So that's what Central App is about, is matching people here with the skills to the opportunities where they're most valuable. And that's usually companies that are on the coast. So we have people that work for us that work for Fortune 500 companies in places like MIT. We have people that work for people in San Francisco, St. Louis, Chicago, New York, Boston, all from right here in Appalachia. We're very much like Uber in that these are our workforce, are Uber drivers, and Central App is the big Uber app that connects them to the riders, which are the companies. And so we have over 50 people that work with us. They have, some people only work a few hours a week by choice. And that's very much in the Uber model, where they're gig workers and they can choose what hours they want to work. We have stay-at-home moms that help support MIT's Salesforce instance. We have, as you mentioned, some people that have started with gone from house painters at $12 an hour when they could get the work to 2 years later, six-figure tech workers working from their home here in Appalachia. Those aren't necessarily typical stories, but there's way more than one. They have a lot of success stories as well. So part of what my job is to make people aware those opportunities exist here in Appalachia. So I guess I would leave you with the idea that these possibilities and opportunities are here. And if you want to hear more about it, I'm happy to talk to anybody about tech in West Virginia all day long.
All right, well, wonderful. And that's exciting. And we'd like to congratulate both you and Dan again for putting people to work here in West Virginia and in interesting and new career opportunities. So thank you again for what you're doing for our state.
Well, thank you.
Our next Power of Performance Award is the Revitalizing Communities category. This category recognizes individuals and organizations investing in and working to help revitalize their communities. Whether it's organizing a recycling program, building more housing, or implementing a community-led project, the recipients of this award are helping to redevelop and grow their communities. The first recipient in this category is Missy Nestor. Missy Nestor of Welch is the publisher and owner of the Welch News in McDowell County, and more recently, Pineville Independent Herald in Wyoming County. She holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Bluefield State College. The mission Missy and her team strives to achieve is delivering local news while showcasing positive events and encouraging others to see the beauty of Southern West Virginia as it changes and grows. Her goal is giving residents of these counties a voice through both print and digital media while maintaining these historic newspapers. There are those who credit Missy with not only saving these community newspapers, but revitalizing them. Congratulations to Missy Nestor for revitalizing her community. Missy, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can say a few words about what you're doing in your community.
Well, good morning. Thank you all. It's such an honor to even be considered for this. And I can't take it. Our whole team, we have a very small team of 6 who are all local people who care about McDowell County, who care about Southern West Virginia, who believe that we can make a positive change. We try to do that through print media. We still deliver into every holler there is in McDowell County, and hope to one day do the same in Wyoming County as well. Our most exciting thing that has happened to us over the 2 years after I purchased the paper is that we have an online presence now, a website. We're coming into the future while we're honoring the past and trying to converge both of those things. And we really hope to use that newspaper to change the mindset of not only McDowell County residents, all of West Virginia, all of the world, about how things are here, how beautiful it is here, how wonderful the people are, the good stories that are coming from here, instead of concentrating on the negative stories we often hear. That's really what we do. You never know what your job is going to be that day. It's exciting. And we love being this in touch with our community. We love promoting tourism in our area. We love watching the change and growth. And we are so thankful that 2 years ago, when I bought the first newspaper, we reached out to West Virginia, and West Virginia Press Association, West Virginia Hub, the Reed School of Journalism, Paywall Projects, all of those people came and spoke to us and helped us and are there for us still. When we need anything and we don't know who to call, someone will help us. And that is the spirit of West Virginia. And that's the spirit of McDowell County and the spirit of our newspaper. And we hope to keep it that way and grow and show the growth here.
Well, that's wonderful, and thank you. And as a public relations professional, I want to thank you for that investment. You know, today's challenges to media of all sizes continue to grow, and for you to make that investment for your community is appreciated, and I think worthwhile. So forgive me for the editorial comment.
Oh, thank you.
Our next recipient in the Revitalizing Communities category is Kristen Dial. Kristen is the Executive Director of Coalfield Health Center, a federally qualified health center lookalike in Southern West Virginia. She is a 2002 graduate of Marshall University with a Bachelor of Science, 2005 graduate of, wait a minute, I think I messed that up. 2005 graduate of Southern West Virginia Community and Technical College with an Associate of Nursing degree, and a 2007 graduate of Marshall University with a Master's in Healthcare Administration. She is an active board member of a number of local organizations and associations. Coalfield Health Center serves as the primary care provider to more than 3,000 residents of Logan, Boone, Lincoln, Mingo, and Wayne counties. The center collaborates with West Virginia Health Right to offer HIV and hepatitis testing, harm reduction services, and mobile dentistry services. It is a hub for community-based research and training as part of its affiliation with the Joan C. Edwards School of Medicine, and serves as a pipeline that encourages high school students to consider healthcare careers. In addition, the center employs community members and serves as an economic driver for the community. Kristen is a founding member of the Wild, Wonderful, and Healthy Logan County Initiative, which is a collaborative of Logan County entities implementing a community health plan to create a healthy workforce and increase economic development in their rural community. Congratulations to Kristen for revitalizing her community. And Kristen, we invite you now to say a few words.
Yes, hello, Kathy. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I am Kristen Dial. I'm the Executive Director. I'm a lifelong native of Logan County, and I want to thank you for this opportunity for the Power Performance Award. As you said, our primary goal is to provide quality primary care to the residents of Southern West Virginia, but our dual mission is to really provide meaningful student health rotations for medical students across all fields of healthcare. And we want to provide them also not with just a student rotation to get them interested in rural medicine, but also rural research opportunities for those students. So I know we were nominated for the Revitalizing Communities, and our project is really based around the premise of creating a healthier workforce in Southern West Virginia to create economic growth and prosperity in the long term. And it's no secret, of course, that Southern West Virginia has some alarming health statistics when compared nationally to in diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease. So we have a lot of work to do in healthcare in the Southern coal fields. But as you said, our project is entitled Wild, Wonderful, and Healthy Logan County. And it is built off a model actually of Wild, Wonderful, and Healthy West Virginia, which was developed by the Center for Rural Health Development. And we feel that this is a real sustainable and attainable model for us. And we have really been working diligently for about the last 2 years on creation of a community health plan. And our goal, our long-term goal, is to actually take this community health plan and implement the community health plan across all sectors of businesses in Logan County. We realize, although we are healthcare leaders in Logan County, it is going to take all businesses to help accomplish this task. So to be able to change our long-term health outcomes in Logan County. So as a leader, you know, I knew that I couldn't do it alone. I have many local partners that help me, including Logan Regional Medical Center and Pride Community Services, among many others, too numerous to name, including a lot of businesses, local businesses that are involved in the Board of Education. But we've also brought in a lot of outside resources outside the county. And I want to take this opportunity to really thank them, because being in the Southern Coal Fields, you know, and having those resources available to us is really invaluable. One of those resources is the Marshall University Center for Rural Health and Jennifer Plymel's team. I want to thank them. Also, the Marshall University Center for Business and Economic Research. They've been really instrumental in this project. And in addition, our most exciting part of this lately has been the collaboration of Marshall University medical students with the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine medical students. Those students are teaming together to help us and work on our project, and they are just bringing tremendous and valuable resources to this project and a lot of enthusiasm. So we're very thankful to the administrative teams of both medical schools to get them on board with us. So as I said, you know, I'm very passionate about what I do, being a lifelong native of Logan, having nursing background, and I really hope that 10, 20 years from now, you know, we have really did something to move the needle in Logan County's health. So I just want to thank you again for the opportunity for this award.
Well, thank you and congratulations again. And I think that what your comments kind of reflect what the theme is for this entire conference. And that is that, you know, collaboration and working together and building connections in order to achieve your goals. And I think that that's what your comments are an excellent example of what this whole conference is about. And congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
So our next Power Performance Award category is Changing Lives, which really could arguably be said about all of our recipients, but specifically, this award recognizes individuals and organizations for helping West Virginians lead more productive and/or healthier lives. This category recognizes those who offer support services, unique educational opportunities, counseling, mentoring, or other services to help lift individuals out of poverty or give them a second chance. The first recipient of this category is the West Virginia Office of Minority Health, or the Minority Health Institute. The mission of the Minority Health Institute is to improve and protect the health and well-being of racial and ethnic minorities through the development of programs, policies, and practices to eliminate health disparities. The Institute serves as a resource and partner to community organizations, healthcare providers, and government agencies in statewide efforts to decrease morbidity and mortality in minority populations and reduce health inequity for vulnerable populations. Through partnerships with local agencies, the Institute has developed community gardens to increase access to fresh fruits and vegetables where food deserts exist. In addition, the organization has developed a pilot program called Building Resources in Diverse Geographic Environments, also called BRIDGE, which is a comprehensive community revitalization effort to address poverty, improve community-wide health, stimulate labor force participation, and support economic development. Dr. Anthony Wart, Dr. Georgiana Logan, and LaDonna Walker-Dean coordinate the efforts of the Institute. Dr. Wart founded the Institute and is its director. He is also department chair and professor in the Department of Public Health in the College of Health Professions at Marshall University. Dr. Logan is a tenure-track assistant professor in the Department of Health Sciences in Marshall's College of Health Science and research associate for the Institute. LaDonna Walker-Dean serves as the West Virginia Minority Health Coordinator for the West Virginia DHHR Bureau for Public Health. She is a doctoral candidate in social work administration at Walden University. And it is all three of them who make the Minority Health Institute work and operate every day. And we congratulate all three and the Institute for your efforts in changing people's lives. I'm turning the screen over to you collectively for your all's comments. Dr. Logan, I see you.
I see myself too.
Okay.
I'm waiting on Dr. Ward and LaDonna. I think they were the ones who were going to speak. So I hope they get their camera turned on.
Our camera is on, and good morning, everybody.
There you go.
I want to thank Small Business Big Solutions for honoring us this way. The overarching goal of Minority Health Institute is to reduce the burden of health disparities among West Virginia minority populations and as well vulnerable populations. Already, for example, even though Asian Americans and African Americans make up just 8% of the population of West Virginia, they at this point bears 23.8% of the overall COVID cases in West Virginia. We must understand as we go through this crisis that much of what is happening in terms of the incidence and mortality and mobility of COVID among the vulnerable populations is determined by what we refer to as social determinants, low-income housing availability, generally all of the things that have to do with that comorbidities. So we must all work together to address these social determinants so that ultimately the burdens of health disparities in general will be minimized, if not reduced, among minorities and vulnerable populations in West Virginia. Again, thank you for this great honor.
Thank you.
To
either of you, I was gonna say, does anyone else have anything to say? You're welcome to say something.
Sure, I'll say something. Dr. Ward and I, we started off with this longevity and goal of helping vulnerable populations in West Virginia in 2018, and it's taken off tremendously fast. And so being from West Virginia, Huntington, West Virginia to be exact, it's such an honor to receive this award from you and your team. And it makes me heartfelt because I care about all the populations, not just the vulnerable populations in West Virginia. And so I love our team. Teamwork makes the dream work. And so we have a long way to go. We know health disparities exist in West Virginia, and with the goal of the Minority Health Institute, we will continue to meet our goal. And thank you.
Dr. Logan.
I just want to say I'm so grateful for this award. I enjoy working with Dr. Ward and LaDonna over in the Minority Health Institute. I'm originally from Flint, Michigan, and so they've kind of adopted me into the team, and I've been at Marshall for almost 2 years now. And so we've done a lot of work, but we have a long ways to go, as they've mentioned, and I'm excited to keep up with this great work. So thank you all again.
Well, thank you all for all that you're doing. And I know that during this time it's probably particularly challenging, and we just wish you the best of luck as you continue to work toward your mission. And again, it's you mentioned collaboration and working together, and that fits in the theme of what all we're trying to do with this conference. But again, congratulations to the three of you.
Thank you.
The next recipient in the Changing Lives category is Misty Martin. Misty is the program director for Marie's Recovery House, a federally recognized sober living and treatment facility for women in Wayne. Developed in partnership with the Western Regional Day Report Centers in Cabell and Wayne counties, Marie's House is a recovery and transition program for nonviolent female offenders. With more than 30 years of research and clinical experience, Misty has devoted her life to helping individuals with substance abuse issues and co-occurring disorders. In the 5+ years she's been the program director, Misty has brought change on several levels. She collaborated with local agencies, churches, and local governments to engage the community in the establishment of Marie's Recovery House and involves them in the recovery process. In addition, through the program's relationship with the community, residents of the house are able to fulfill their required community service hours and learn about the importance of integrity, character, and professionalism. This program, based in science and education with the support of the community, is changing one life at a time. Congratulations to Misty Martin on changing lives. Misty, I'm going to turn the screen over to you for your comments.
Hi, thank you for having me today. I'm so humbled to be part of this amazing group that is facilitating change in Southern West Virginia among those that some of us feel have been forgotten. So this was empowering for me to be part of this today. I've had an amazing journey. I grew up in a house where civic duty was expected. It was not an option. Helping your neighbor, using what you've been given to help those that maybe need a hand up, that's where you went. Whether it was through your education or your own resources, you give what you have to make a difference and re-strengthen the people of West Virginia. But fast forward, many, many years later, the last 5 years, as you said, it has just been my privilege to be brought in by the judicial system here to reformulate the model of which we see recovery for women. In 1976, SAMHSA said that recovery for women has to be very, very specific and distinct. The program that I developed through Marie's House Recovery Program covers everything that is woman. That goes from everything from education, rediscovery, restoration, transition. I'm very, very proud to say, and I will keep it brief, but I must brag, I'm very proud of these women. I have women finishing their masters at Marshall University. I have people who are the longstanding taxpayers. They're out here spreading the word of the Marie's House dichotom among other people and saving lives. I work with some of the most amazing female colleagues in their field to create this transition. And it is such a humbling experience for me to be able to use everything that I've been able to gain over the years in education and influence and everything to bring this to the women of West Virginia. We have over 7,000 children in foster care today. 80% of those, at the last time I read, were related to someone who had this chronic brain illness. So it only makes me more impassioned to continue to be a warrior for their rights in recovery and for it to be done, without underestimating the women of West Virginia. I think it's time that we start giving them what they need, and let's see what they can do as parents and restore these families and draw these children out of foster care. So today, although I'm honored to be among all of you, this award is solely for these women of West Virginia. They're all sitting here. So I'm sorry, but they are the most amazing creatures in the world, and I'm just blessed to be part of it. Thank you.
Oh, congratulations, Misty, and your passion shines through, and you got me all misty, like your name. Oh, congratulations to all of you for the Power Performance Awards that you have received. Our last and final award is the Small Communities Big Solutions 2021 Advocate Award. This award recognizes individuals for their commitment and work over the course of many years, whether it's through their career or volunteerism. And it encompasses the characteristics of each of these categories: the changing lives, revitalizing communities, and putting people to work. The recipient of the 2021 Advocate Award is Jim Spencer. Jim is a graduate of Narrows High School and Bluefield State College. He holds bachelor's degrees in applied science and civil engineering technology. He worked for Tazewell County, Virginia for 23 years as the Public Service Authority Administrator from 1992 to 2011, and served as the County Administrator from 2002 to 2015. During this time in Tazewell County, he was involved in approximately $120 million in capital projects with more than half being funded by grants from various sources. These projects include water, sewer, broadband, landfill expansions, economic development, and building projects. In 2012, he won the Governor of Virginia's award for the most innovative use of technology in economic development for the Virtual Marketing Assistance Program. In addition to his county-level work, Jim served on the Virginia Resources Authority Board of Directors for 12 years, 8 of which he was vice chair, and he was appointed to that authority by 2 different governors. After he retired in 2015, he was hired by the City of Bluefield to create and direct the Community and Economic Development Department. The CED has since evolved into the Bluefield, West Virginia Economic Development Authority, and Jim serves as its executive director. He has developed the Commercialization Station, which is a mixed-use incubator focusing on manufacturing, and it was funded by a $2.04 million EDA power grant matched by $510,000 grant from a local foundation. He helped to secure $2 million in grant funding to develop shovel-ready pads on city-owned property at Exit 1 off of Interstate 77. He helped Bluefield receive 2 Opportunity Zone designations, which includes part of Mercer County and the city of Princeton. He has developed various entrepreneurial programs, including the E2E program. His recent efforts helped the city to land Intuit's Prosperity Hub, which will bring 200 to 500 jobs to the city's historic downtown. In addition, the Bluefield Economic Development Authority is working with Intuit to develop the My Bluefield Small Business Success Center, which will provide training, resources, and support for entrepreneurs, startups, and existing businesses. I am honored to present to you Jim Spencer, the Small Communities, Big Solutions 2021 Advocate. Jim, I'm going to turn the screen over to you.
Thank you very much. And it is indeed a privilege to be here today and to win this award. I'm very humbled. I'm at the end of my career, and one of the things that I wanted to do, if Brittany can share the screen, and by the way, this is our downtown. I grew up like one of the other speakers. My dad was a mayor of a little small town. And so by the time I was 10 and 11, I went out to try to help. And I grew up understanding the need for public service. And when I was in college, I ran for the town council because I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And so when I did retire, I was courted by Tom Cole to come to the city of Bluefield. And being a former county administrator, I was tired of doing barking dogs and potholes and funding the school systems and all those other things. I wanted to have some in my career with some meaning, and we've had a lot of success in Bluefield, and we took a 3-pronged approach. Number 1, we had to stop the bleeding. We were losing businesses, so we had to develop programs to support them. Number 2 was innovation, entrepreneurship, and number 3 was to attract new industry. We've had success on all 3. So if you don't mind, Brittany, can you share the slide that I sent you?
It's up, Jim.
Yeah, it's on screen.
All right, can everybody see it?
Yes. Yeah.
That is something that I've used quite a bit in my career. I found that in a book a long time ago, and basically I can't see it, so I hope you can. It basically says, you know, he who wants milk should not just sit waiting for the cow to back up to you. You've got to go get it. Economic development, community development is an aggressive sport. It's a team sport. All the success that I've had in my career, and I thank you for that, which the kind words that was said, is because of team efforts, not just because of Jim Spencer, because of other folks that we partner with. And there's a lot of partners that we have in West Virginia, the network of folks from the state and local level. It's all about working together. And so as I end my career, I want some of the folks that's on the call maybe to look at that cow slide and think about how you can aggressively help your community. We can't just sit back idly and continue to let things go as they have. We've got to be aggressive in everything that we do in community development, and we've got to make smart choices. So I am honored to win this award. I'm very humbled. And with the panel of folks that was listed, that's some great things going on in West Virginia, and I'm just proud to be part of it. And it's a homecoming for me. My family's from Monroe County. My wife's family's from Monroe County. So it's good to be back in West Virginia. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I want to offer our heartfelt congratulations to all of our Power of Performance Award winners each of you is deserving. All of the nominees are deserving, frankly. It was a tough decision for the judge panel, but we believe that all of you are very much deserved of the awards that you've been given, and we just hope that it serves as encouragement to you that you continue to do the great work that you're doing in your communities, and that you pass the torch along and continue to inspire those around you. It's been a privilege to be part of the conference and to be able to present this year's awards. And I'll turn things back over to Sarah or Brittany if you have something you want to say.
Sorry, I was on mute, but yeah, so make sure to tune in to tomorrow. We are honoring student leaders in our state as well with our first Rising Leaders in West Virginia Award. So we're excited for that as well.
Well, thank you both, Kathy, Brittany. It's a heavy lift to get judges to review all the nominations, to have plenty of tissues as you're reading all these nominations, because it is very emotional. I mean, we talk about what's working well in the state, but this award process is so important, the power of performance, because these are power performers that are getting up every day and working diligently every day to help our communities and to help our region and to help our state. So I sincerely thank each one of you for going the extra mile every single day to make a difference, and you are. And it's so important to press pause and celebrate, and that's what we're doing with this. So, and Kathy always does a beautiful job. So thank you, Kathy, very much.